Hey everybody, I'm Sarah Butler and you're watching Hollywood and Vines. And yes, you're right, this is not my backyard. Surprise! I took you to visit my friend, Greg Alterman. This is his place and he has so graciously invited us here to check it out. Done so much work on this place. It's insane. I mean, there's a full golf course down here, guys. We're going to show you what Greg has put together on his own, completely drummed this up and installed it by himself. Well, I mean with the help of people, but you were the boss.
I started with a shovel and very quickly it became a few people with shovels. And then yeah, we ended up with something pretty amazing.
Yeah. So let's go walk around and see some of the magical moments that this property has to offer. Being a designer, one of the first things I noticed is your extensive use of broken concrete on this property, which is one of my favorite materials. It looks like real stone. It's super easy to work with. You can grout it like this or you can just stack it.
It was incredibly easy.
Yeah.
And you can do anything with it. Obviously it's flat, comes in the chunks already sort of I guess broken to those sizes, and it ends up looking super natural.
Yeah.
Because it just goes with all the natural stones here perfectly.
I know, I love the mixture of the gravel and the broken concrete. That's super rustic, chic, sophistication look, which is totally my thing. And it goes right here with your vineyards.
It does. I left 2 rows of the vineyard. We had maybe 20 or 30 rows of vineyard here beforehand, and I didn't want to rip the whole thing out. I'm not really a wine drinker.
Right.
So I left 2 of them on there.
So do you know what variety they are?
It's a Pinot grape. Yeah. It
Very
makes,
nice.
Average to below average wine. This is a Demundia grass, which is actually it's also a really interesting texture and grows with super thick.
Yeah. Ooh, it's got
but it
woody
doesn't
stems.
get any. Yeah, it's super woody, and it basically roots anywhere.
Yeah.
It's really done a nice job covering up and sort of keeping the rocks from having too much weathering.
Yeah.
So it's a nice choice for this area.
I love it.
And,
it's so gorgeous. Does it require a lot of water or no?
It does, but it has a super deep root system. So I guess I know a little bit more about them than I thought I did.
You do know.
A couple of them, yeah. Some nights you'll get lucky and you'll get these parrots flying by here that are so incredible. I was working out down there, and they were probably, I would see that bush that's kind of like right over the fence on the other side of the fence there. There was probably 20 parrots being quiet in there. And then during the workout, one started chirping. I'm like, oh my God, are those parrots? All of a sudden, I kind of looked around the corner and they took off, flying this direction through the canyon. I've never seen brighter colors and birds. Like, it was amazing.
They're not really bonsai trees, right?
I actually don't even know the name of the tree. It's a bush, kind of. It connects with this bush up here, but it was all one big bush, and I just sort of chainsawed my way through it and created a livable, usable space that wasn't here before.
So you chainsawed literally like 10 feet through here and 10 feet through there?
Yeah, it was basically the entire trail the bush came to about where this edge is here. It connected with this bush here, so all of it had to kind of come out.
Wow.
And it's a highly flammable bush, so it actually was something that the fire department wanted me to take out, and would prefer that I take even more of it out. But I, kind of like.
I've seen this everywhere. I mean, I've seen this in Hollywood. It's. I thought maybe it was the Toyon, but there's so many that are almost very similar. So
I want to say it's a honey something.
Honey something. We'll figure it out. We'll superimpose.
Don't really know. Sorry.
But so. I mean, tell me, this was not done with a chainsaw, because you had to get in here and carve out all of this.
This is a constant maintenance. You know, the guys have to come and
here. Let me help.
Take these little pieces out, but it maintains my view, and it kind of gives me a faux version of a big bonsai tree.
So here we are on the green of hole number 2?
This is the second green.
Second green.
It's many of the holes share this green, so we kind of come at it from different angles.
Wow, this is an incredible view. I don't think I'd be able to focus on getting it here because I'd be just like drooling over this insane view. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Have you always been an avid golfer?
I kind of grew up with a golf club in my hand. From the time I was about 5 or 6, my dad was a big golfer, and I grew up at a country club playing golf as sort of my main interest sport, and I ended up playing a little golf in college at the University of Florida. I was on the golf team. Wasn't quite good enough to be pro, so I kind of gave it up and started selling t-shirts.
Right, which we know has worked out pretty well for you. I am a big fan of Alternative, as well as your other brands that you've done. Amazing work. So you've had this property for what?
7 years.
7 years?
7 years.
And when you saw it, did you think, I'm going to put a golf course there?
I had no idea. There was a huge vineyard here, like I said, about 50, I can't exactly remember how many rows, maybe 20, 25 different rows of vineyard grapes that went all the way down the hill here.
Wow.
And it was just a lot to constantly maintain. I decided that, okay, this is costing a lot to maintain this. The wine I am making wasn't really that great. So I first pulled it out, and when I pulled it out, I was like, oh my gosh, I have a bare hill here that I need to like plant stuff, or else I'm going to have dirt, and maybe mudslides, or I didn't know what. So I called a geologist, and he basically sort of gave me ideas as to what I can do to minimize any sort of fire hazards, as well as plant approved brush, coyote bush and sort of
natives.
Exactly. There was this flat little piece right here that it was given to me. Once I started clipping this bush, I noticed that there was all this flat land, and I was like, wow, I was going to put AstroTurf down here, but then I just decided against that, and it would have been a lot easier, because this what we're standing in is the AstroTurf, and
maintains
it really
itself.
takes exactly, and it looks great all the time.
Yeah.
But it's not quite the same on the foot.
Is this a special blend that you chose for your...
This is a West Coast Paspalum. Actually, it's been overseeded with rye currently, which is about to die. But it's called a Platinum Paspalum.
How did you choose that?
Well, it came in the 8-foot sod pieces, and we ended up laying a bunch of chicken wire underneath here for gophers. We've had a lot of gopher issues.
Yeah,
but
that's how you keep it so perfect.
Yeah.
Chicken wire underneath the entire thing.
Yeah, got to do that here in Malibu, because you've got some critters out there.
Speaking of maintenance, I noticed this. Is this one of the things your guy does when he comes in? He just cuts that. I
definitely have him edging that tight.
Yeah,
it
nice.
acts as two different things here. It acts as a nice contrast for the against the Paspalum, which is the that actually is rye. It's been overseeded with rye, but it's normally just a, what do you call it? Hillside fescue.
Yeah.
And it usually, and it's kind of mixed in between right now, sort of half rye, half hillside. No maintenance at all, other than just sort of trimming it up against the short grass that we do maintain.
They call it the no-mow, right?
Yeah, the no-mow.
Yeah.
It lays flat and it sort of does its thing.
I love it. It does this like cow-licky pattern. It's really, really cool. It's actually what I'm trying to grow in my front yard.
Actually, this side over here is 100% the Hillside fescue, and this is half Hillside, half rye.
Yeah.
Because when I overseeded this with rye, I was sort of afraid, based on my sprinkler system that I've got maintaining, that this was going to get a different amount of water. So it's a long story, but anyway, I blended them.
No, but that's really, I think that's really pertinent information because, people probably assume that grass is grass and that's one species, but there's so many different species of grass. Some are cold weather, some are hot weather grasses. Some are no-mow and some are mow, and they all respond better in different types of microclimate. So most of the time when you see a beautiful, healthy lawn, it is a mixture because you have to sort of tailor that for your particular microclimate.
You're right, and I've had to adjust the sprinklers and adjust the, everything, the height that I'm mowing it, just mostly the sprinklers and obviously testing with different amounts of mowing, whether it be a couple times a week or once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on the time of the year. There's just a lot of different variables here.
God bless you for going out there and creating the most beautiful lawn because most people don't have it in them.
When I was 14, I started mowing lawns in my neighborhood, and I took care of about maybe 15 or 20 lawns as a 14-year-old, and it got even more than that as I was 16, 17 in high school. And so I sort of became, I had this meticulous sort of edging mentality where I had a partner, one of my classmates. He would do most of the heavy lifting, the mowing, and I was the guy doing the bushes and the edging and like that sort of thing. We had a business. It was actually called Gwart Lawn Service.
I'm just never putting my shoes back on again.
I know.
There's no need.
Doesn't it feel great?
It feels great.
I'm telling you, this is the worst the grass has looked in all year.
I've never seen a private golf course at a home before, and so this is pretty special. It's really fun to see what people do with their own homes and what kind of exterior spaces they dream up for themselves, and it's just as unique as the individual. So
thank you. This was the most challenging part, putting in this little retaining wall, because this was a super steep hill right here to work on it by itself with mostly bushes and weeds and things. But that was probably the most challenging part, and that took a few months of guys down here with the railroad ties, and those things are incredibly heavy.
So heavy, oh my gosh! But they look great.
Obviously we were going with this rock, but when I put the cement in here and pushed down these similar types of rocks to give it sort of a natural look as well. I was thinking about using the Diamondia grass here as grass. That would have been. I know, that would be really cool. That would have been amazing. I think maybe the next time I'll do it.
But now you can have all the ladies in high heels coming down here,
true,
for cocktail hour.
That is true. Although we're missing one of the best parts.
Ooh,
the jasmine. The jasmine. Although the wind storms down here get pretty nasty, and they end up pushing things in places they're not supposed to be. But originally these vines were, supposed to be, and we're covering a lot of what we see here.
Yeah, but
I guess they'll get back.
They'll hopefully. I mean, they look
growing. They're growing. This should be like this.
Yeah.
Right? It's just
the wind must come up through this
it totally does, and then I forget to put them down.
That smell good, eh? I think I was here maybe a year ago, and I cannot believe how much this has grown in. It's so beautiful.
It has matured quite a bit, and it's taken sort of, I think, I can't remember exactly when you were here, but I was just starting to put the stuff in. And
that's why I wanted to come around again, and I was so happy when you invited me because I remember us having really nerdy conversations about plant species.
I just have become interested in plants and growing things and propagating and just keeping things alive and the challenge of it all, and really more of the beauty of it all, the bringing life to the property.
The beauty of a place is so much greater when you've really put in the effort yourself and you've waited for the time that it takes for it to mature and beautify itself.
You can't say that any better than how you just said it. Yes, it has been a long time coming to get things to be able to be like, finally, that area looks the way I wanted it to or envisioned it to look. It's a lot. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of love, and just caring, and more than anything, just the vision of what you want it to become. People can do whatever they want to do in their backyards, and I guess they can, if they have the vision for it, and the patience, and the surroundings will give them the opportunity to be able to keep things alive. Or you have to be smart with your choices as to what the landscape and the overall geology gives you.
Mm-hmm.
But I tried not to fight it. I tried to go with what was given to me here, and I think that has been part of the success of it all.
Thank you so much for having us, Greg.
You're welcome. It's good to have you guys.